Hi everyone, so today we're going to draft this stylish princess dart posture with collar. So I'll get the vertical measurement. So from there I'll mark out 6 inch. I'll extend my tape. Okay, I'll mark out 6 inch for the collar allowance. So this will serve as my starting line. So I'll go ahead to mark it into a straight line. That's my starting line. So from there I'll mark the rest of the vertical measurements. From there I'm going to mark out the bust point 10 inches, the under bust 13 inches, the waistline I'm using 16 inches, and then the full length of the pattern. So I'll go ahead to make it into a straight line. Okay, just feel free to make use of your own measurement. So I'm making use of the measurement, and you can see the pattern is not long enough, so my the hip line is not long, but if I'm tracing it on my fabric, I will take care of that. I will extend it. So I'll go ahead to label the vertical measurement. So from the starting line, I'll mark my shoulder line, which is 7.5 inch. I'll also mark out the neckline. So from there I'll mark the depth of the neckline. This is just a preamble because I'm not going to use that because of the style of the pattern. So I'll come down by 1 inch at the shoulder line and extend it to the neckline and also to the chest line. This is just the armhole that I'm creating here. So I'm going to have to create my armhole line. So from the under bust point, I'll mark my nipple to nipple measurement divided by 2 rather, then which is 4 inches. So I'll mark 4 inches from the bust point down to the full length of the pattern. Then from the under bust, I come in by 2 inches at the center front and 1 inch at the side front, just like so, and then connect it to the bust point. Okay, so the next step is to extend the dart line. Okay, that's basically creating my dart here. So I'm extending the dart line to the full length of the pattern right at the hip line. So then from the armhole, I'll get the midpoint of my armhole and make a dot there. So then I'll connect it to the bust point. Okay, so this is me creating a princess dart. So from there I'll mark half an inch on both sides of this dart and then connect it to the bust point just like so. Okay, so I'll connect it to the bust point. I just basically offer it. Then the next step is to work on the collar. Okay, extend the armhole line. I'll take the measurement I take at the that I take half an inch on both sides, and I extend the armhole length to 1 inch just like so that I'll not have a shortage at the armhole length. Okay, so I'll mark it there. That will serve as my armhole for the pattern. Then from the neckline, I'll mark my 3 inches width I took at the neckline and extend it to the top there. Then I'll come in by 2 inch and then connect it back to the shoulder line. This is totally optional. This depends how wide you want the collar to be. So I'll mark it down there. Then from the under bust, I'll come in by 1.5 inch and the under bust. Remember, this is folded. This pattern is folded into two. So when I open it, it will be up to 3 inches. So then I'll connect it from the under bust straight to the dart line. Okay, so this is it. Then I'll go ahead to take my horizontal measurements. From the waistline, I'll mark my waist divided by 4 plus that taking. I took that taking there is 3 inches. That means I'm adding 3 inches to it, and then I don't think I added any allowance. If you're not adding yours, feel free to add it when you are cutting it on your fabric. So I'll connect it and do the same thing at the waist, at the hip line, and also the same thing at the bust line, I took measure my bust divided by 4, I'll mark it plus the that taken there. Okay, then I'll connect the horizontal measurements to the hip line. Okay, now like I said before, this hip line is not the actual measurement, but I'm stopping it here. If in case I'm going to draft it on my fabric, I will add extra length to this hip line, so feel free to add yours if you're cutting on your fabric. So I'll go ahead to cut out that and the shoulder line down to the extended collar. Then this is just it, so I'll go ahead to trim this out. Okay, right, so I'll go trim it out and cut it. Right, I'll mark the bust points, just trying to give a mark at the bust points to determine where the bust starts. Okay, and then I'll curve out the hip line. This is totally optional. Now to the back pattern, I will mark out the horizontal measurement. I will extend my tape by 7 inches, which is the chest line. Okay, I'll extend my tape by 7 inches, then mark out the waistline and the hip line. So that's the vertical measurement I need here. The back line is not going to have a shoulder line or neckline, because it's just a half cut, just like a half cut at the back. Okay, so the vertical measurement I needed is the chest line, the waistline and the hip line, and from there I'll mark that line, mark my 4 inches from the chest to the hip line of the pattern, and then I mark it. This is the chest line, this is the waist and the full length of the pattern. Okay, so adding a zipper allowance at the back side is totally optional, but it's not necessary. So then I'll mark out the dots, come in by half inch at both sides, that's the waistline, come in by half inches above the both sides, and then extend to the chest line. Okay, just like so. I will extend the dots to the chest line and extend the dart leg to the full pattern of the full length of the pattern. Then this is it. Then I mark out the horizontal measurement, the waist divided by 4 and the waist hip divided by 4 inches plus the dart taken. I'll also do the same. At the chest line, you measure the round your chest line circumference. Just measure it and divide it by 4 inches. Then you mark it there and extend the line. That is just the horizontal measurement there. So this is just it. So I'm gonna head to cut it off. Okay, just cut it off, starting from there, then cut out the excesses, trim it off, and the dots of the pattern. So yeah, this is just it. Okay, so now thank you so much for watching, and if you haven't subscribed to this channel, please kindly do so. And if you have anything, or if you don't have any question, feel free to ask me at the comment section. And if you find this tutorial useful, just give me a thumbs up. I will appreciate that. So thank you so much, and see you.